Oil and gas fall again, polar bears could hamper Alaskan exploration, and one inventor looks at getting power from trees. All this and more in today's Energy Scout News. Hello and welcome back to Energy Scout News and Information. I'm Red Byers. Crude oil rose briefly this week, but lower consumption worldwide drove prices back down below $90 a barrel. The United States demand for gasoline dropped nearly 10% in the last week. Oil has dropped 40% from the record of $147 back in July. And the Dow has sunk nearly 30% this year. That's the worst in more than 70 years. And in related news, natural gas is down as well amid concerns that measures to prop up economies around the world won't be enough to prevent further slowing. Prices have plummeted 50% from its high in July. And still, exploration continues. Representatives of 34 international oil companies will meet with the Iraqi officials in London on Monday. Now, they plan to talk about bidding for 8 enormous oil and gas fields. Now, if the deals are approved, they could lead to the biggest foreign stake in Iraq since the industry was nationalized more than 30 years ago. One inventor sees power coming from a breeze through the trees, but first, let's take a look at today's new contracts in the industry. WW Oil and Gas has signed an agreement with an unnamed oil and gas operating company to begin the reworking of non-producing wells on the Wolf Lease in Young County, Texas. TransGlobal Petroleum has signed an agreement with Ethiopia's Minister of Mines and Energy to explore and develop petroleum in northern Ethiopia. And finally, KRC Resources has received an agreement from Pemex to drill vertical and directional wells in northern Mexico. Offshore exploration in Alaska could get tougher. The federal government plans to designate critical habitat areas for polar bears off Alaska's coast by next June. Federal law prohibits companies from doing anything that could adversely impact an area designated as critical habitat. And in other news, Denali Pipeline President Bud Fackrell has offered more details about the Alaska project. Most of the chilled pipeline will be buried. However, segments that cross major rivers or pass through areas prone to earthquakes would be built above ground. The company plans to hold its open season in late 2010. OPEC needs to cut output to put the brakes on oil's price drop. That's the message Libya's National Oil Corporation chairman, Chakri Ghanem, stated. Ghanem said with oil prices collapsing and international banks being routed, it's better to keep our oil underground. And now for a quick review of today's mergers and acquisitions. Complete Production Services has purchased Appalachian Well Services for $49 million and TSWS for $57 million. Small Cap Strategies plans to buy Extreme Oil and Gas within the next 30 days, and Intermec has purchased Specialist Maintenance Services and A1 Safety Training Consultants. As people search for alternatives to petroleum-based fuels, Ford says they shouldn't count on hydrogen anytime soon. It could be 20 years before hydrogen-powered cars become widely available. Ford engineer Greg Frenette has said obtaining the fuel is too costly and difficult right now. He said that he's not seen a viable, affordable plan to convert an economy to hydrogen, and it could well take until 2030. The future of wind power could be in the trees. Oregon inventor Rick Dixon has designed an artificial tree that uses piezoelectric leaves mounted on small nodes to generate electricity as they flutter in the wind. He said the technology is still a decade or so away from being truly marketable, but his wind tree would be much smaller than a windmill and could operate even in suburban areas without being obtrusive.
So, I think wind power is important, but I think what people are looking at, what they're most interested in is getting renewable energy devices that more and more are very environmentally friendly and unobtrusive and have no negative impact at all.
For more information on these stories and more, check out the news section on our site. If you have any news to share from around the energy industry, you can email us at news@energyscout.com. And as always, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.